All right. So we've learned so much today, right? It feels like to me, it feels like we've known each other forever, and it's been a few hours, I guess. It's been about 6.5 hours. We're going to wrap things up with a few amazing people from our community who are exactly where you were, either a year or two ago, who then took a leap of faith. Their higher version of themselves decided to take a leap of faith and plant themselves in fertile soil. And they're going to share a little bit more about their wonderful journey that they've been on. So I'd love to call to the stage Angie Gallagher. And we also have Dr. Penney Stringer that's going to be joining us. And we do also have Wynn, but I can't find her. I don't know if she changed her name or not. So if my team could identify where she is and make her a co-host, then that would be awesome. So let's welcome them to the stage. We have Abundant, Angie, and we have Dr. Penney. I'm going to spotlight both of you so we can see you. And let's see, where's Penney? There she is. Hey, ladies.
Hello.
Let's get you both unmuted. And Aaron, if you guys can find Wynn and get her pinned up, that would be awesome as well. Okay, so let's start. We'll go in alphabetical order since we can't do the ladies first thing here. Let's go with Angie. Abundant Angie. Tell us a little bit more about you. Tell us your real name, first of all, and then tell us a little bit more about your practice and who your ideal customer is that you work with.
Okay. Well, it's Angie Gallagher, and I am a functional medicine trained wellness coach with a background of 25 years working as a clinical exercise physiologist in cardiac and pulmonary rehab. And so my ideal client I thought was going to be cardiac patients, but as it turned out, as I was sharing my story and being vulnerable online, I'm getting people of all over the board. I have 27-year-old young man, and I have a 70-some-year-old woman. And I'm not one of those people who's really nailed my avatar, I will say, but I'm having lots of success with the people who are coming to me based on what I am sharing and the passion that I'm putting out there. So I guess the answer to my ideal client is kind of a tough one.
Well, your ideal client is somebody who likes to have fun in the healing process, it sounds like to me, right? Someone who resonates and is magnetized to your message.
Yes.
If you aren't following Angie online, I highly encourage you to. She's always going to exotic places, doing cool runs. She's like in extremely amazing shape, and she shares all of her adventures. So sometimes, it may not be somebody who we're looking for. It could be the person that's looking for us. So we call that the avatar paradox, right? So it's not just okay, I'm looking for people with this problem, but they also have to be looking for you, right? So you're creating more of a magnetic personality, and people are being attracted to what you're sharing. And they may not even know why they want to work with you, but they're magnetized towards you. So, and it's totally okay, right? You can be successful being completely niched down, or you could be successful by really expressing who you are openly and freely, and the people who are attracted to you will find you. So it literally does work both ways. So thanks for helping me clear that up.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you for explaining that. I love that.
Yeah. And sometimes it's like, I don't even know what this person does. I just want to work with them. Right. So like Carol said it really well in the very beginning, right? She said, like, I know why I was here, but as soon as I walked in, I knew I wanted to work with this person without even me saying anything. Right. So there's something, Siri had something to say about that. There's something to be said about that. Right. And so I would lean into that.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. Penney, you want to tell us more about you?
Yes, hi. I'm so happy to be here with the three of you and all of the rest of the people. So my name is Penney Stringer, and I'm a board certified in family medicine. And I got really lucky after, I got lucky all along the way with mentors. But one of the things is I got into functional medicine shortly after residency. And I took the first class of functional medicine and then had a mentor from the get-go out of the IFMCP. So I've been practicing functional medicine fully since 2004, and all within insurance. all that whole time until I met Sachin, who showed me the light. and I was quite burned out when I met Sachin in 2020. And I had all this energy within me and all this like vision of what could be. And I think that there was just a burnout that I had to work through. And I actually had to get out of the medical system to be able to like share my full light and be able to share what I knew in my heart was possible. And I was already doing it to, lots of different degrees, but I actually had to break out of a system that was keeping me limited. And part of it was seeing the health coaches and nutritionists is having much bigger impact than I was having. Like my medical degree was actually limiting my ability to serve. And I had to get into like a really deep piece of heartbreak around the way COVID was handled and around my own personal heartbreak and the collective heartbreak. It was right around the time Afghanistan was closed. And I just totally connected to all these women who were going to lose their ability to ever live their full light. And I went deep into that, like, what's the point? And it was out of that deep meditative state of getting into what's the point of all this that I actually like had some kind of blooming happen. And after that meditation, everything changed. So you never know, like sometimes it's not about learning more or getting more information. It's actually about going deep, deep, deep within to find the fire that was always there, to actually be able, and then to have mentors that can like guide you out of that deep place where the fire comes from and like help to channel it. And so that's really how the process has happened for me. And the reason I got into this group was to be able to do more group work because I've been doing group work all along. So there you go.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing. Thank you both for introducing yourselves. What I'd love to know, and we'll just ping pong back and forth, Angie, what inspires you to put your message out there? You're pretty consistent at doing it. And so I'd love to know where that fire comes from and where that source of inspiration comes from, because some of us are reluctant to put our message out there. So tell us what that process looks like for you.
Oh, absolutely. And I was right there with any of you who are struggling to put your message out there. I was right there with you. I was really terrified to put my first Facebook Live out there. I mean, it took me a long time to get to the point of having the courage to do that. And I think, Sachin, you had said, you convinced me that people wouldn't get tired of my message unless they weren't my people, and to not be afraid of pushing some people away, because the consistency of the message of the people who want to hear it, who need to hear it, will pay off. And it's exactly what's happened. I was convinced people would get so tired of seeing my stuff, and it's quite the opposite. Like, people count on seeing it now. They look forward to seeing it. They are in my direct messages telling me how much they appreciate what I'm sharing. I get so many comments of people saying, thank you for all of the work you're doing to help us all be healthier. And I mean, it's amazing. I'm literally, like, every day I'm like shocked that people still want to hear from me. And so it's true. I think for me, I just want to put positivity into the world. What happened to, oh, there he is. I just want to put positivity into the world. I want to just shine light and positivity and hope, and people, I think, just resonate with that. So I'm passionate about it because this whole community is so heart-centered, and I just feel so at home with this community of just being heart-centered, heart-focused, wanting to put positivity into the world. And people resonate, and they like it. So that keeps me going.
I love that. One of the things that some of us are afraid of is our people are going to get tired of our message. And it's a dangerous assumption that everyone sees everything you post.
Right.
So, for those of you that are wondering, you don't see every single post that I put out there, because the algorithm may not necessarily feed it to you. So, don't assume that everyone's going to see it. But like Angie said, some people rely on you putting that message out there. When they're having a bad day, they can just turn to your feed and they can see life can be so much better. Right. And that juxtaposition between where you are and where they are is a source of inspiration for them without you even doing anything. You're showing them what's possible for them. And you're showing them that you know how to do something, and you have a set of skills or a talent that they may not have. And that, that gap between where they are and where you are is something that you can help them fill, right? Angie can teach me to do the things that she does. Penny can teach me to do the magic that she does in our practice if I'm not capable of doing it. And so the thing is that people who value your message want more of it. They don't want less of it. Right. They want as much of it as you can possibly give them. They want to squeeze that orange, right, to get as much juice out of it as they possibly can. So yeah, that's such a great point to keep putting it out there. I'm sure you get this as well. I know I certainly have, and I'm sure there's many others that have, especially those that are consistent, is that I'll get people coming up to me and saying, you're the only reason I still have Facebook.
Yeah.
So you're hearing that message too, right? So we're like, Zuckerberg should be paying us because these people are being fed all these ads thanks to us. And the only reason they're coming on is because of us, because of our message. So it's such a valuable feedback loop that we get, right? And it's not until you're consistent and not until you're dependable, it's not until people can depend on you to post something valuable or share valuable information, whether it's through email, whether it's through a podcast, whether it's through YouTube, whether it's through social media, whatever that platform is, your people value it. Okay. And the ones that don't, why are we worried about them? Why are we worried about people that will never spend a single penny with us? Why are we letting that impact those that will spend their last penny to work with us? Right? Because everyone gets to that point where they will spend every penny they have to be able to achieve what you can help them achieve. All right. Yeah. Dr. Penney, how about you share with us what inspires you to put your message out there?
I think it's similar to Angie's. I resonate with Angie a lot in lots of different ways. I think it's just letting people know that there's this beautiful abundance everywhere. There's the beautiful abundance within them. There's this amazing innate ability for the body to heal. It's not rocket science to tap into that. And also that we are part of nature. Like we are a microcosm of the macrocosm of the nature. And that, like, I can't believe I had to go to medical school and residency and all this training to basically teach people how to eat, how to breathe, and how to connect to the earth, and do it with joy and ecstasy about it. And I think that's really, like, I get that if that's why I went to medical school, it's worth it. If my MD degree can be used to like open up people and to like wake them up, then it's worth it. It's all been worth it, right? And so I think that social media is not a natural thing for me to get up. It's not a natural thing for me to be in front of people at all. That's just not my personality. I'd much rather just be, in nature, holding people's hands. But it's been like I got out of my own way, and I'm like, I'm doing enough service. This is of service, and this is my calling, and it's all okay. I'm not doing it every day like Angie, but I can aspire to. And I am wearing Angie's. Angie's an amazing artist. She made all this jewelry I'm wearing. So thank you, Angie.
Thank you.
Wow, what a full circle moment there. I love that. And you're both nature files, which that attracts me to both of you because I love being out in nature as well. And it's not something you hear a lot of healthcare practitioners promoting, right? A lot of them talk about diet and supplementation and lab testing, but I love the fact that you both bring nature into, as important as it is, you really bring it into your profiles and what you put out there in the world. And you'll find countless pictures of Penney hugging trees and being in beautiful forests, and you'll see lots of images and adventures of Angie running in pretty cool places. I think she just came back from Hawaii a few weeks ago and did some runs there. So live your most amazing, most authentic life and sprinkle in some ways that people can achieve that as well, and drop in some health tips. I mean, there's lots of ways that you can put your message out there, and just know people are watching. Here's the thing. Let me ask you a question. How many of you like or comment on every single post that you see? Nobody, right? That would be ridiculous. You'd just be all there all day commenting and posting, and you'd get through, maybe 15 posts, and then it'd be an hour later. That doesn't mean you didn't see the post. It doesn't mean you didn't read the post. It doesn't mean that you didn't think about the post or answer the question that the post posed. Right? So don't always rely on the metrics to tell the whole story. Okay? Don't let it discourage you when not everyone reacted or responded. one of the best ways, and not to get too far off track here, but one of the best ways to get people to see more of your message. Who wants more people to see their message? Raise your hands if you do. Okay. Well, here's a little hack. So when you wake up in the morning, or whenever you open up your phone or your computer to go on whatever medium you go on, scroll through your posts and comment. Spend 10 minutes commenting on people's stuff. Thank you for this. This inspires me. Just drop a heart in the comment. Okay. Share some gratitude. I needed this today. Something simple like that. Because what ends up happening is whenever you post something, you're always going back and checking it, right? Usually within the first little bit, you want to know, is anyone reacting to this? Are there any comments? Like, what's going on here? And here's what happens. If you engage with, so you can't be antisocial on social media, right? Because the algorithm has no way of knowing how engaged you are with something until you press a button, right? It doesn't, as far as I know, read your eye movements. It only can detect when you press a button. So when you click on somebody's profile and you comment on it or comment on their post, chances are that they're going to click on your profile. And the more they scroll through your profile, now the algorithm knows that this person is interested in Angie's posts. And guess what? They're going to feed more of her posts to her as well, because that's how social networks work. So I spend the first 10 or 15 minutes actually commenting on other people's stuff before I post anything. And it does a couple of things. One is it deploys what BNI calls a giver's gain philosophy and mentality, right? So everyone wants more engagement on their posts. Otherwise, we wouldn't post anything. So I'm giving people some engagement, right? I'm giving them more of what they want. I'm acknowledging them. I'm letting them know that they're seen and they're heard.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll do that first. And then organically, that will lead to more people following my content, right? Engaging and posting and commenting. Now, you don't just do it once. You have to do that consistently over a period of time. And you can see how the magic unfolds. So the algorithm can work for us if we actually show the algorithm what we're interested in. Now, another thing about your Facebook feed, I'm really getting off on a tangent here, but I'll share this, is if you consistently see stuff that triggers you, you can unfollow those people, right? The reason most people hate social media is because they hate the people that they follow. And their friends are negative and they're politically driven, or they're just like very, just triggering to them, whatever. I'll let you figure out what the reason is. So of course you would hate it, right? So you could unfollow people. You don't have to unfriend them, so they never have to know, but you could mute them for 30 days and then decide if you miss this person or not, right? And chances are your feed will start to become filled with, more of what you want to see. So I love Facebook. I absolutely love it because I've created an environment that I love in it, right? I wouldn't know many of you if it wasn't for Facebook. So I'm grateful for it every single day, right? And it's a tool, right? So I don't let the tool use me. I use the tool. So something important as we're talking about social media and putting your message out there, and really whatever that platform is, right? You can get more engagement when you're more engaged. All right, next question for both of you. Since our theme is about getting unstuck, I'd love, Angie, if you can start us off, like when is a time that you felt really, really stuck? And what did you have to do to get unstuck?
Yeah. So just last fall, I was feeling pretty frustrated, feeling stuck, feeling like there just wasn't any momentum with my business. And so a couple of things. I reached out to the community, to the Perfect Practice community, and I just was showered with so much love and so much support and so much encouragement, and just people kind of rallying and lifting me up. And that was huge. And then I had to have a serious shift in my whole inner state and my energy. And I just remember having this moment where it's like, okay, you're going to start just focusing on being of service without any strings attached, without any expectation. You're going to just get out of your comfort zone. I thought I'd already gotten out of my comfort zone because of, your encouragement, your comfort zone is where your dreams go to die. So I started doing the Facebook Lives. I started doing the things that made me uncomfortable. And I thought, okay, I've done it, but I hadn't really done it enough. And so I started getting out of my comfort zone locally and getting involved in more. I joined a board. I joined a council. I started volunteering at a soup kitchen. I said yes to every invitation I got during the holidays, which is hard for an introverted person. But I just did this massive shift. And I think that just kind of told the universe, yes, I'm ready. Like, I'm ready. I'm getting out of my own way. I'm getting out of my comfort zone. I'm networking locally, and things just started happening. After the new year, I was getting lots of calls. I was at like an 80% conversion rate on my discovery calls. I just had a whole new energy around me, and things were coming to me.
So you didn't have to change the world. You had to really focus on yourself, right?
Yeah.
Which is the hardest and easiest thing to do. So congratulations and kudos. And it's just a gentle reminder, right? How we kicked off today was, it's very unorthodox, right? Because some people probably thought we were going to talk about like hacking funnels or maybe like optimizing Facebook ads, but none of that matters until we are in the right place and in the right vibration and right frequency. And some of you might get triggered by me saying that, right? And you can end this call right now. It's one button away, but you choose to be here because you're in agreement with that, right? Or that resonates with you in some way. So thank you for sharing that. Penny, where's the point where you felt stuck or conflicted and maybe you were thinking, man, do I burn this whole thing down or do I keep going? I'd love to hear a story about that and what you did or what tool you used to get unstuck.
Yeah, so for me, it was kind of like a serious burnout where my brain wasn't working anymore. Like, I was getting buried in finishing my chart notes and, telling insurances why I was doing what I was doing. And my love for what I was doing, I love my patients. That's never been a problem. But I really wasn't, the love wasn't being able to shine through. And I had to look at, I had to stop trying to overcompensate for some things that were going around in my field that were really chronically stressful. And I had to stop overcompensating for people that were causing great and dire stress. And I had to actually just not take responsibility for other people's actions around me and let it all kind of crumble and fall apart so that my energy could be freed up. And so it wasn't about, working harder. It was actually the opposite. It was actually about allowing and being in reality for what it was and allowing things to fall away from around me. And I would have to say that's really what allowed me to get unstuck. It wasn't really someone had to help me do that. It was that I just had to be in reality and just acknowledge what I'd been doing to keep others from not feeling things. So yeah, a little weird, but that's what I had to do.
No, hey, it is what it is, right? Isn't it amazing that we have to justify what we do, not to the patient, but to a third party that basically has no idea of what that interaction that we're having is like? It's that can be very frustrating, very, very frustrating process. Who can relate to that? Maybe if you've taken insurance in the past or maybe currently take insurance, you're just like, man, like these are archaic protocols sometimes that you have to follow. And it breaks your heart knowing sometimes what you know as a functional medicine practitioner or holistic practitioner, that there's so much more that you can do for this person. And having to justify this doesn't always, light you up. So totally, I can relate to that for sure.
And the message, I got a message while I was trying to figure it out, is the message to me was that your balanced nervous system is what of the most service to the world. So I took that really to heart and had to clear out tons of space around me. I had to, stop my practice because just it never ends, all the messages coming in. And I just had to take a break and actually get back in touch with myself and nature.
Still the pond, as they say, right?
Still the pond.
I love that. Angie, you kind of alluded to this, and I'd love to hear from Penney as well, is how important has it been to surround yourself with the right people, to plant yourself in the right soil? And how do you choose that soil? Because there's obviously options that all of us have, but how do you come to that decision or conclusion that this is the right space that I want to sow my seeds?
So for me, it definitely was it was a feeling I got being on Perfect Practice Live 2021. I mean, I just, the message that you shared, that all of the other speakers shared, it just touched my heart. Like, I just was like, I don't know how to explain it. I just knew, coming from cardiac rehab, coming from a more kind of Western medicine model, and getting in trouble, getting fired, because I was trying to help people in a root cause functional medicine way, and just the lack of heart focus that I was experiencing in that world, and then coming into your space and into this community, and just the feeling that I got from everybody, it just was like, these are my people. This is where I need to be. Like, I felt so alone where I was at, because I mean, I was getting in trouble for spending too much time with my patients, and I'm like, that's just not going to work for me long term. And then I found this community, and it just was like, I almost have chills like talking about it, because I just knew. I mean, I knew that this is the community that was going to support the way I wanted to work with people, and they're going to give me the tools and the skills to create a lifestyle and a career around that.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Penney, what was that process like for you in deciding where to plant your seeds?
Yes. So my whole purpose was to be able to create more effective group dynamics, but it wasn't just that. Like, I had interviewed with another like a really intense coach as well, and I almost was about to sign on the dotted line, but my whole nervous system was not in alignment in any way with it. And then I started seeing you on Facebook, so I'm very grateful to Facebook for that. And just like, you talked about like meditation, and you talked about plant medicine, and you talked about like even the music. Like, I resonated with the music, and I resonated with like the little twinkle in your eye. And so it was an energetic thing. And then when I joined you guys, I just have been blown away by like the heart-centeredness of it, which is my whole thing. And just being with like-minded practitioners that are in medicine. And then that's like, you guys get it. You totally get it. And I feel like I've been in the Wild West for like 18 years. I'm in the Wild West. Eastern Washington is the Wild West, believe me. And to do functional medicine, I'm the only certified person here in this area, even, for a lot of people around, like a lot of miles around, like there's getting to be more people in functional medicine, but I've been in the Wild West and I've done it okay. But to have this community, like to be able to be like, you're actually not that unusual, like you're part of us, right? So it's just been so great. And I just am so grateful. Like my whole being is so grateful to this opportunity and this community. I'm really, really grateful.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you. And both are such wonderful members of our community. I'd love to know where you see yourself in the next 3 years or so. Where do you see your business evolving into? And of course, how do you see yourself evolving over the next 3 years?
So I guess I'll go first. Yeah, I mean, I see scaling. I see doing two things, continuing to have my group program and kind of follow Miranda's lead a little bit with maybe cutting down a little bit on the one-on-one stuff and creating more of a really dynamic and powerful group experience. But then also having a separate service line where I do high ticket people with cardiovascular risk because of the background I have with cardiac patients, and recommending testing and doing some technology and wearables and so forth. So having a separate, more one-on-one high ticket offer as well. And love then that. Yeah, having the 5 freedoms, being able to do it from Costa Rica.
Beautiful place. I think it definitely rivals Hawaii. I think Hawaii's got a little one up on it because it's in the middle of nowhere, but beautiful place to do business from and to be there. And it was really cool when we went there too, because I was telling Deepa, I'm like, oh my God, we're at a breathwork retreat and we're still running our business. Like, how cool is this to be on the beach and be in the sun and not have any limitations that, being a chiropractor at one point, had for me. So it's great to see that expansiveness in your horizon. Penney, how about you? Where do you see your practice in the next 3 years?
Yeah, so I still have a brick and mortar and still do online, do both. So I think groups are the way of healing the world. And the synergy that happens either in person or online is just, it's so powerful, it's magical. And when you lead it from a place of heart-centeredness, and you bring in breath work, and you bring in, spirituality into it, it's like the sky is the limit for what's possible for human beings coming together in group. And so I, as a result of being in this mentorship, I have developed 4 groups now, and I just see expanding those. And I've also see expanding into a group for women's health and pelvic floor issues that I'm going to collaborate with someone in Seattle, which I'm excited about. And so I just see that there's so much potential for this model that Sachin has developed, his team has developed, plus bringing in some of the spirit and meditation and breath work into whatever the group dynamic is. It's just like last night, I'm doing my Vital Brain group, which is based on Bredesen's protocol. And I had people breathing and shaking to Osho meditation, and then dancing to the Doobie Brothers, and they're all like over 65, right? Like, so that's my dream, right? Like it's happening, and people go all in when you're all in. They go all in. So there's so much possible for groups, even when it's on a screen. So.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing about groups, is they can be as expansive as you want them to be. And thankfully for technology like Zoom, you can have breakouts, you can have music, you can have spotlighting taking place. There's so many tools that Zoom offers us to make our utilization of it so much more powerful. And you can have people tuning in from all over the world. There was actually a study in I believe it was released in 2020 or 2021 from the Cleveland Clinic, and they found that group programs were actually more cost effective and clinically effective than one-on-one programs. Mm-hmm. So if you're doing one-on-one programs, keep doing them, right? I still do some one-on-one stuff, but you are most leveraged when you're doing one-to-many, right? That's what we're doing right now. We're doing one-to-many, right? A one-on-one call would be, obviously a shorter duration, short period of time. And it would be very, very, laser focused on that individual. One-to-many, you can speak to an audience, right? And you can attract people with a very clear message who are resonating with, with what you're putting out there. And then, just to kind of finish the thought process here, you could turn that into one to infinity. Okay. So what that means is that Penney and Angie and all of you can then develop that course and turn it into a self-study program, should you choose to. Right? Yeah. You can also codify it. So Penney can take her program and turn it into a code, which is the longest lever that we can pull. And she can, in fact, train other coaches to deliver that program. Right? So now she can impact even more lives. And even down the road, maybe this is her 5-year plan, or maybe my 5-year plan for her. She could have a whole system where she trains doctors in her process because she's codified the whole thing. Right. So we want to start thinking, and casting that vision. Should that resonate with us? It doesn't have to, but I just want you to know what the possibilities are, right? That you could, if you want to help the most number of people, right, you're not going to do it one-on-one, right? That's the most number of people you can help one-on-one, but it's not the most number of people you can help, period, right? So think of ways to expand yourself and create freedom for yourself. You can put together, programs that people can join in a group setting, or you can actually create a do-it-yourself type of program as well, which could be a lower price point, and that can scale infinitely. So we're in a very cool position in the business model that we all have the capability of creating to make infinite impact, which then means infinite income, right? Beyond our wildest dreams. Okay. The other thing I want to share is how Tesla launched itself. So I did share this video, and maybe not everyone watched it, but what Tesla did in the very beginning is they had a high ticket roadster, right? Which is a proof of concept that we can make a car better than the current car. Now, I'm not by any means endorsing that you buy an electric car. That's a whole different conversation, but let's just use this model for now. You can use this framework that Elon Musk used. High ticket item is your one-on-one, right? We don't sell a ton of those. I think they only sold a couple hundred of those. And the people that are buying that car are rabid fans of it, right? So they don't mind waiting. They don't care if it takes a year or two. They're just happy that they got one. Okay. So one-on-one is going to be high ticket. And this is where you prove your concepts. This is where you dial in your testing. This is where you dial in your protocols. This is where you dial in your messaging. This is where you dial in your lifestyle recommendations, right? And then that turns into a more mass market product. So that was the Model S, right? So the Model S is still, kind of a luxury car, if you will. And this could be akin to, let's say, your group program, which still has a premium price, right? Group program doesn't mean you sell yourself short. A group program means it's in a group, which studies show are actually more valuable, right? So in theory, if you charge based on results, then you could actually, in theory, charge more for a group program, couldn't you? Right? If you're trading time for dollars, then yeah, you're going to charge more for your one-on-one program. But if you're charging for outcomes, then statistically and clinically, scientifically proven, group programs create a better outcome. So in theory, you could charge the same or more, or just even a little bit less. It doesn't have to be you slashing your prices. That's not what group programs mean. Okay. And then they have the Model 3 and the Model Y, which is really a more mass level, and still not quite at the price point that everyone can afford it, but getting there, right? And that could be your do-it-yourself type program, right? So he didn't come out with the mass market product right at the very beginning because he wouldn't have been able to capitalize his business. So one-on-one higher ticket allows us to capitalize our business so that we can spend more on marketing. We can get our website done. We can hire a coach. We can do the steps that we need to do to give our business the rocket fuel that it needs to take off. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay. So how are you applying what, Elon Musk has done, and doing that in your business? So some of you, if you're just starting out, I will never tell you to start out and just go bang into a group, right? I will encourage you to develop your process by working with a handful of people one-on-one, and then adopting what you've learned and then constructing the group. Okay. Or if you are putting a group program together, work with people one-on-one, because that helps you define your program more clearly. Okay. Because if you're just starting out, sometimes it's hard to fill a group, right? But we could always find 1 to 5 people that we can work with that are willing to pay, that are happy to pay, that think you charge too little. Here's something worth writing down. No matter how much you charge, there's somebody willing to pay. One of my friends is a doctor for a Saudi prince. He gets paid $1 million a year, just for one patient. Okay. And, so there's people that are willing to pay that, right? And there's some of us, we might charge $500 for like a 5-month program, and there's people moaning and groaning and complaining. So no matter how much you charge, there's people willing to pay. And no matter how little you charge, there's people that are willing to complain and happy to complain. They live to complain.
Yep.
Right? Because they're not our ideal client.
Yep.
Okay. Somebody who understands your value is happy to pay you, right? Because they know that when they pay you, that money is worth more to them, right? That $500 turns into, or that $5,000 turns into adding 10 years to their life, turns into getting rid of their pain, turns into not having to know where every bathroom is in town everywhere they go, turns into them being able to travel, turns into them being able to eat at restaurants again, turns into them dating again, right? And finding that soulmate. Okay, so, it's important that we understand our value first and what we do for people. One thing I always tell you is that you're not in the money saving business. Nobody comes to me to save money. They will save money, but I'm very clear that you're not going to save money working with me, because you're going to live 10 years longer. And what the hell is more expensive than that? You're going to have to buy your wife 10 more birthday gifts. You're going to have to take her on 40 more vacations, right? You have to spoil your kids for 10 more years, your grandkids, maybe even your great grandkids. And then are you going to complain right down the road that damn Satchet, I have to buy all these gifts for all these people because I'm living all these extra years? No, I'm not in the business to save you money. I'm in this business to change and transform your life. And if I can do that, the money won't even matter. You'd be happy to pay me. if you understand the value, right? But we have to know that value. All right. So what I would love to know is if you could go back, Angie and Penney, to 5 years ago, where some people who are tuned in, that's where they might be, where you were 5 years ago, maybe even 2 years ago or 3 years ago, and you could whisper something in your ear, that younger version of you, what would you whisper into your ear?
Oh, wow. Yeah, I was in a pretty dark place. I think I would whisper, stay true to your passion and to your desire to help people, and eventually the people who share your vision will follow you. Just stay true to your internal compass, your true desire to help people, and the right people will get on board.
Trust the process, right? Awesome.
Yeah.
Be your authentic self. Love it. All right, Penny, what would you whisper into your ear?
I would say trust your heart, and when you are being of service, everything comes into play. Everything falls into place. It's not, you don't have to struggle. Everything falls into place.
Beautiful. Let's show these ladies some love for sharing so humbly and so graciously. We can wiggle our fingers just like this. They're both so inspiring, and I'm so grateful that our paths have crossed and intertwined, and we're now tangled up in this beautiful web that we weave together, making the world a better, healthier, happier place. So thank you for being part of our community, and thank you for sharing your journey and your story.
Thank you, Sachin.
Thank you, Sachin, for all of your leadership and for just doing what you do.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And, I receive it fully. And I also acknowledge that it takes a village. So it takes a team, it takes a community beyond just my team. It takes all the members of our community to make up that mycelial network where we can all grow, where we can all share, where we can all collaborate, and where we can all contribute to the conversation. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Angie.
Thanks, Penny.